Now, I would like to welcome our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Dilip Ukey, Vice Chancellor, Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai. Professor Dr. Dilip Ukey is the Vice Chancellor of Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai. He has also served on national bodies like UGC, NAC, UPSC, State Public Service Commission, with UP, Uttarakhand, Orissa, Bihar, MP, etc., including judge selection panels. He is also nominated member of the UGC panel of experts about institution of eminence. He has also conferred the best academician in law by the Indian National Bar Association, New Delhi. His research papers and his recent book on the jurisprudence of legal theory is widely read in the academic circle. Now I would like to invite sir to share a few words with us. So please.
Thank you, Ms. Parul. Honorable Justice Jindal, the former judge of Punjab and Haryana High Court, our guest who spoke extensively about mooting and moot courts, Senior Advocate Arijit Singh ji, the Chancellor of the Gita Institute, Shri Jindal ji, Pro-Chancellors, the Dean Academic of Gita Institute of Law, Dr. Dharmendra Patial, the faculty members, and dear student friends and participants, very good evening to all of you. It is indeed a great pleasure and privilege to be here with all of you in this fine evening for a valedictory function of the Justice Dipak Misra National Moot Court Competition, which has been organized by Gita Institute of Law. As Ms. Parul had said initially, I would like to quote Justice Holmes, who had said that life of the law is not a logic, but it is an experience. The things which otherwise I would have shared and spoken about, some of the things or majority of the things have been referred already by Advocate Arijit ji. So I refrain from referring to those things. Dear friends, as science students, they study the science, they study their subjects of science in a classroom, and then thereafter they go to the laboratory for their practical experiments and get an experience, and then out of that experience some knowledge about it, a practical approach of the subject, relevant subjects. I would say that in a similar fashion, for law students, moot courts and mooting, they are the laboratories to have to gain that kind of experience out of the experiments on a mooting problem, on a moot problems as such. No doubt, teachers conduct the lectures in a classroom. We read books, but law is not to be found only in the Constitution. Law is not to be found only in the statute book. But more importantly, I said, more importantly, law is to be found in the judicial decisions, and particularly the decisions delivered by the highest court of the land. Law is not that what is there either in the Constitution or an act or a rule in the form of delegated legislation. But more important, law is to be contained in those judicial decisions. As Article 141 of the Indian Constitution stands and says that the law declared by the Supreme Court shall be binding upon all the courts within the territory of India. It is not the decision which has been delivered by the Supreme Court, but rather the decision is nothing but the law. However, when we say this, we must know where the law is to be located in that particular decision delivered by the Supreme Court. There are certain technicalities, there are certain conditionalities which are associated with the decision delivered by the Supreme Court. It is not the whole judgment which is to be binding, but that bindingness emanates from the ratio of the judgment. How that ratio is to be ascertained, how that ratio is to be identified, of course, these are the matters of the technicalities and matters of study which you will gain that knowledge with the process, with the passage of time when the subjects come to you. Nevertheless, these moot problems or these moot code competitions or the moot codes which are now otherwise a mandatory part of the curricula made by the BCI in the law colleges, in the law institutes, enables every law student to understand that where the law is to be located, where that bindingness is to be located as such. No doubt, moot court problems are like just mock problems. Nevertheless, those mock problems are just the replicas sometime of the actual or factual decisions delivered by the higher judiciary, either by the Supreme Court or even by the High Court. In view of this, it is necessary to study those judgments in a detailed, deep down manner. In what way the judge has looked at this particular aspect, in what way either the provision of the constitution or provision of any statute or any rule, regulation, so on and so forth, has been interpreted. Similarly, of course, it may be too early to say or suggest that even the judgments of other countries, though they are not binding precedent, no doubt, as per the constitution, nevertheless, they have the persuasive value. As. So these are the nitty-gritties, these are the technicalities, and that's why the role of the law institutes, role of law colleges, the role of law institutions or legal institutions, including the national law universities, is not only to impart the legal education, but at the same time to inculcate the skills of not only advocacy, but skills of even lawyering. As Advocate Arijit ji has pointed out, that what are those things which are required? No doubt you must have been trained by your respective moot court committees as well as the faculty members in respective law colleges or the law institutes as such. I'm really happy to know that Gita Institute of Law, and I read somewhere that now Gita Institutes has become now the Gita University also, deemed university also. That status has been conferred by the UGC. I heartily congratulate the Gita Institute for becoming the university, as well as Gita Institute of Law, its Dean, Dr. Dharmendra ji, that when you people are undertaking such endeavors, you people are organizing such programs, not only moot courts, even I have read somewhere the kind of activities you have 11 centers of research that speaks volumes about the kind of the work and efforts being made by the management to develop the institute in a way to contribute into the social development of the country. It is not the student of law which will be helped. It is not only the student of any other institute which will be helped, but rather this is nothing but the nation building. It is an effort, an attempt to, uh, to build the nation, to build this society in a more civilized manner. I'm really happy to know and impressed by the Chancellor, Shri Jindal to say that the Gita Institutes, and particularly the Gita Institute of Law, the endeavor is not only to impart the legal education. Of course, every law college or every legal institution imparts, that's what rather the primary duty is, to impart the legal education. But do we really need only the knowledge-based society today? Is it only the role, is it only the job or the duty of any institute of higher learning to impart the knowledge? In case of law institute, legal knowledge, to my mind, no. We do not need at this time of at this amount of time or at this juncture only the knowledge-based society, but rather we need the value-based society, values-based society. That education is not only to be the knowledge-based education, but it is to be value-based education. No doubt we have learned so many things, we are learning so many things. This is not an occasion to say about other things as a philosophy, but yes, we know the science, we know so much, we have learned so much of science, We have the knowledge of science, no doubt. We have rather developed so many missiles, satellites, so on and so forth. True, we have knowledge of science, but the question is that do we have the science of knowledge? And there what it comes, that science of knowledge is nothing but those basic values, those basic human values. Dear young friends, this might appear a bit or out of way, but that's what rather the kind of the duty, kind of the role which is being performed by the Gita Institutes, that they inculcate the values, basic human values. I would call upon and urge all the participants, all the students to look at the preamble of the Constitution. Usually we emphasize upon justice, liberty, and equality, troika, trinity of values, no doubt. Because why I'm saying this, the reason is that my job has been rather made easier by Advocate Arijit ji, referring to all those technicalities or the practical things associated with moot courts. And that's why I could take liberty and advantage of this. So usually we emphasize upon justice, liberty, and equality, completely either ignoring or forgetting or neglecting the fourth one, that is the fraternity, assuring the dignity of individuals. And this notion of fraternity, which has been ingrained in the preamble of the Indian Constitution, has been transformed and translated into the fundamental duty under Article 51AE of the Constitution. Always we are obsessed with, always we crave for our own rights, which are fundamental. We do say, right to privacy, it is my fundamental right. Free speech and expression, my fundamental right, movement, so on and so forth. No doubt, those rights are fundamental. But do we know? Are we aware? Do we emphasize, think about those duties which are also there, which are also equally fundamental? No, including myself. And that's what India needs today. If you want to build, if you want to build liberal, democratic, civilized society, this is an occasion wherein I can say this, that for that we need to adhere to the fourth dimension, the fourth pillar, which has been ingrained in the preamble of the Constitution, that is the notion of fraternity. Advocate Arijit said that, as well as others also have said that what moot court competitions teach you, not only lawyering, not only advocacy, but to work in tandem, to cooperate, to help each other. Therein your egos do not come. Therein your jealousies do not come. Therein your hatred, ill wills do not come. And that's what rather. What education needs today, what legal education needs today is the inculcation of these basic human values. Then only the education would be better. Then only knowledge would be better. Then only the Indian society and as a nation, India as a nation, civilized, liberal, democratic country would be better. As you have competed in this national moot court competition organized by Gita Institute, the Gita Institute, recall what has been contained in that Gita, as those sermons were delivered by Lord Krishna. That dharma is to be adhered to. Dharma herein it is not a religion. That dharma is something beyond, higher than the law. Those are nothing but the ethical, moral, higher moral, natural duties, human duties. And that's why these competitions, as well as the teaching, as well as the education, as well as the knowledge which we gain from that education, must be coupled with those basic human values. I, from core of my heart, congratulate the Gita Institute of Law, the Gita University, its management, for organizing such a wonderful competition, and congratulate also not only to those prospective winners of this moot court competition, and Wish you all the best, not only to winners, to all the participants, not only for your completion of your degree, but I wish you all the best for becoming a good human being of this great nation. Thank you so much.